Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you all to the webinar we have today, partnering with County Cooperative Extension Agents. And I'm so excited you all are here. I'm going to drop in the chat a way to access captions, and you can access that. We also have a live captioner, so want to have that available here for you all. So in the chat, there's an option to see the captions if you need that. We are recording today's webinar, and so that will be available for you here in a few days. I want to welcome you all again here. My name is Hillary Ritt, and I am the Workforce and Adult Services Consultant at KDLA, and one of my colleagues, Kim, is here with me. We also have Dr. Mark Maines and Kim Henken from the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Office here to present today, and I'm going to stop sharing my slides so that they can share their slides. Actually, I'll go on and bring their slides up for them. And I'm so excited to have them here today with us to talk about how to partner with cooperative extension agents. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over here to Mark and Kim.
Good morning, everyone. As Hillary said, I'm Dr. Mark Maines. I'm the Extension Director for Workforce and Equity within the Cooperative Extension Service at the University of Kentucky's College of Agriculture and Environment. And we're actually going to start out with Kim Henken today, and I'll let her introduce herself. We're also joined by two of our 4-H agents from Boyle County, Alexis and Alethea, and we'll do those introductions a little bit later. So Kim?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Henken, as Mark said, and I work with UK Cooperative Extension Service in a role as Director of Extension Engagement and Administrative Initiatives. We're really pleased to be with you all today, and that Hillary asked us about presenting this training about partnering with your county extension office. As Mark said, we do have a couple of agents from Boyle County, the horticulture agent, family and consumer sciences agent, who will share some information after we go through a little bit of background and basic information about cooperative extension. And Hillary, I believe you were going to open some slides for us. All right.
There you go.
I think everybody now has the content on screen, so we will get started with this presentation. First, we have a poll question. And the question is, how familiar are you with the programs offered by your local cooperative extension service? And I believe, Kim, you three is managing the poll for us.
Actually, I can do that. If you just hold on just a second, I'll get that up here for you.
All right, thanks, Hillary.
Thank you all while we get the poll up. For just your patience, it's going to be a second.
And thank you to Hillary for helping to facilitate this session. Kim and I might be a little bit awkward today because we actually use Zoom only for Teams. This is, I think, both of ours first time using Blackboard. So it's a learning experience for us, and we appreciate your patience. And thank you, Hillary, for being such a gracious moderator and doing some of these things for us.
So glad to.
Hillary did give us a chance to practice a little bit, so we were grateful for that opportunity as well. All right,
so you all should
now
be
you
seeing
all
a poll
see,
screen.
Yeah. If you all see the poll question on screen, if you go ahead and respond to that question. How familiar are you with your programs, with the programs offered by your local cooperative extension office? Looks like so far all the responses are at least somewhat familiar, and that's great. We're glad that we have folks who know about their local extension office, and we're going to talk a little bit more about extension in general, the structure, and how we're set up at the county level and state level.
Okay, well, I'll go on and stop sharing the poll and get your slides back up.
We want to spend a little bit of time today giving you all some background about cooperative
Bridget has a
extension.
young and graduating.
And our slides will highlight some of that background. In Kentucky, we have two land-grant universities, the University of Kentucky and Kentucky State University. And really the goal of extension is to serve as the link between the people of the state and those land-grant universities. And that happens through providing education and outreach to help people improve their lives by focusing on local needs and issues. And cooperative extension has been around for more than 100 years and has really worked to bring the research knowledge and discovery of the universities to Kentuckians through research-based outreach. Extension builds local program success through collaborations within counties, across geographic boundaries, and through networks that are established through the local offices and with their campus colleagues at both the University of Kentucky and Kentucky State University. Program planning and extension is really based on community needs and is prioritized to address those local needs. And it's very important to have stakeholder engagement in that planning process. So extension is public funded and is a non-formal education system. Extension links education and research resources of USDA and land-grant universities with the local county government. On a national level, that connection comes through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And there are 4 pieces of federal legislation that form the basis of extension. The most important of those is probably the Smith-Lever Act of 1914, which formally established cooperative extension service and called upon a cooperative partnership to happen between 3 levels of government, federal, state, and county, to bring that education and research from land-grant universities to the communities, and at that time, especially to rural areas. Understanding extension, in Kentucky, that unique cooperative agreement involves the University of Kentucky, Kentucky State University, USDA, the state of Kentucky, and each Kentucky county. So there's actually Kentucky revised statutes that established our system here in Kentucky. The most significant of those is known as the District Cooperative Extension Law, and that's the legislation that established each Kentucky county to be an extension district. And that legislation provides specific language governing our county extension councils, extension districts, extension district boards, and sets up that basic structure for the local partnership. In Kentucky, extension really values diversity and capitalizing on the potentials to strengthen programs. Extension values being locally driven, flexible, and responsive. And I think the last 2 years have really showcased that flexibility and being responsive. Extension values empowering people to solve problems, make decisions, and embrace change. It's really about helping people develop that knowledge base and grow their skill set so that they can solve problems and make decisions. Extension values apply knowledge and research-based information. And much of this work is accomplished through collaboration, volunteerism, and leadership development. Local participation, local volunteerism, local support are a key in the impact of the local county programming. Extension values developing youth, adults, families, and communities. It really is about serving across the lifespan and across the spectrum. In Kentucky, Extension is funded through federal funds through the U.S. Department of Agriculture, state funds through appropriations for both University of Kentucky and Kentucky State University, and then local funds that are either through an Extension district tax and or a local governmental budget. There's also significant dollars for Extension that comes through gifts, grants, and contracts. All of those funding sources are really vital to our Extension system in Kentucky. Our Extension programming is county-centered and focused. It's contingent upon local input and really understanding what the situations are within each local county in Kentucky, looking at trend data and what that trend data tells us, and really focusing in and being responsive to those local county needs. Our county extension councils play a key role in setting the direction for local programming, and they provide input in all those phases of setting priorities for local programming. Administratively, Extension functions at the county level through offices that include agents, support staff, program assistants, and a variety of positions. Our counties are combined into areas for administrative purposes. We have 24 of those administrative areas across the state. Those areas are led by area extension directors. And then our areas are grouped into 3 regions, and you see that here on the map on the screen. Those regions are led by regional extension directors. And that county-focused staffing and administrative team works collaboratively with an administrative team that's campus-based, as well as campus-based faculty and extension specialists who provide that subject matter support and program development and implementation assistance to address local community needs. And Mark's going to talk a little bit more about our program areas and our approach to programming. So I'll pass the mic to Mark now.
Thanks, Kim. I want to pause for just a second. Are there any questions or comments?
I'm not seeing any in the chat, but folks, please feel free to type a question in the chat, and we'll relay it to Mark, or we can hold those until the end, but no questions so far. Please feel free to type in the chat, though.
Great, thanks. Yeah, you're welcome to ask any questions at any time, and we'll do our best to answer them, or if we can't get the information for you. So traditionally, a lot of you, since most of you have a somewhat familiar background with the Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service, may know our more broad program areas of agriculture and natural resources, family and consumer sciences, and 4-H youth development. However, we're actually within those areas have expanded over our history to include arts education, horticulture, and then community and economic development. And today I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about each of those different program areas to kind of tell you some of the things from the state level perspective that they're focusing on, and then how that impacts our grassroots driven programming at the county level. So I'll start with 4-H youth development, and I didn't have a good picture for each of these, so I just used the program leader or the current program leader. But the interesting thing about Cooperative Extension Service is we have an administrative chain that handles the administrative day-to-day operations of our programming, of our extension offices at the county. And we also have a programmatic chain. And each program chain has a program leader, and their job is to help oversee and support the development of programs that, again, help support county-based needs across the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Each of the program areas divide how they do that up a little bit differently. So you won't see the same necessarily topics or focus areas under each program, but there is significant overlap. So I'll start with 4-H youth development, and here we have Dr. Rachel Gaduli, who's our interim director of 4-H youth development. The program areas that are called our 7 core content areas that 4-H focuses on in the counties are leadership, citizenship, family and consumer sciences, health, communication and expressive arts, agriculture, and natural resources, and then science, engineering, and technology. Now, those, as you know, are really broad categories. And so under each of those categories, there might be dozens or more programs that meet some particular aspect or address some particular need in that broad area. So we ask our 4-H agents in Kentucky to conduct programs in at least 6 of our 7 cores. So through the 4-H side of extension work, you'll see programming that takes place in these. And it's very diverse. Again, you'll hear us constantly reiterate the county-focused or county-based needs. And we really do try to emulate and support that model at all levels, because ultimately the people who know what's best needed in a community are the community members, not someone who's at the state level. So we support our agents in identifying needs and then support them in developing programs to address those needs. And 4-H youth development, I have some insight into that. I was our previous state 4-H director until I took a new job in January of this year. But what I always like to say is that our destination in 4-H was youth development, or creating positive youth development, and 4-H was the vehicle that we get there. We used to get there. So the 4-H program is devoted to providing experiences that allow youth to develop positively over their lifespan. And so you'll often hear me previously, or probably our new state 4-H director when that person is hired. 4-H is not just activities, it's what we're doing for the kids to give them opportunities for positive youth development, which might include our project activities. The next category is our agriculture and natural resources. Oftentimes you'll hear these individuals in the county referred to as the county agent. Really, they're just one of the many county agents that we have in each county across the state. And they will support anything related to agriculture, natural resources, or horticulture. Now, Kentucky is still very much a farming community in some areas, but it's also very urban or suburban in others. So what you see these agents doing can be very diverse. But some of the areas in which they work with are supporting animal production, animal agriculture in the county, row crops, grain crops, production crops that would be sold on market, horticulture. Some of our counties have horticulture agents. Some of our counties have an ag agent who does both horticulture and ag work. So you'll see additional personnel in counties that can support that. But horticulture is a very big component in a lot of our Kentucky counties. And they're devoted to either production horticulture, where people might do production, vegetable gardening, or other things like that, or just home horticulture, or lawn and garden care, just basic supporting green spaces and homeowners in your county. And finally, in those largest counties, you'll often see kind of a focus on urban agriculture, which is bringing an agriculture experience or understanding or opportunity to people in largely urban environments, or doing the same with horticulture. And again, that's overlap with home horticulture, production horticulture. A lot of our agents have been working collaboratively in the communities. Some may have even been working with our libraries to develop farmers markets or expand farmers markets. And so that's something that you'll often see our agriculture and natural resource agents doing. And in some counties that have them are horticulture agents. The next area, and that was, I'm sorry, I should say that was Dr. Craig Wood. He's our director of A&R in the previous slide. Here we have Dr. Jennifer Hunter. And they have program initiatives, and they ask their agents to conduct program in a majority of these. And those program initiatives are, again, very broad areas, but include making healthy lifestyle choices, nurturing families, embracing life as you age, securing financial stability, promoting healthy homes and communities, accessing nutritious foods, and empowering community leaders. So again, very broad. So you might see an FCS agent in almost any environment in the county, because they're working on different things that support communities, families, and individuals. There is overlap significantly with the 4-H program and FCS, but primarily our FCS agents work with youth that are kindergarten through 3rd grade, Our 4-H agents work with 4th grade through high school, and then FCS agents work with young adults and older, working to help them have the opportunities they need. So some of the initiatives that have been done through our family consumer science programs are our SNAP Ed education sessions that's provided to people that receive government benefits, working again with farmers markets. Those are often whole county office endeavors as they strive to make a market for healthy, locally produced horticulture products or agriculture products. They also help a lot with an aging population, a sandwich generation, individuals who are caring for parents or young children, just anything that helps promote that healthy, vibrant home and healthy, vibrant community. And those are our 3 main program areas, and I mentioned those earlier, but those are the largest. And those, every county has staff specifically devoted to working with those 3 program areas. The majority of our counties have 1 person in each of those positions or more. We do have some counties that have more limited resources who will focus their efforts on 2 agents, each of whom would do 1 program area and 4-H youth development, and the other one would complement that with the other program area and also support 4-H development, because obviously youth are the mainstays of many of our communities. But we do have a small staff of arts extension agents, and they're currently working to expand the outreach of that program through the addition of regional arts extension specialists. But they work within the 3 broad areas of community economic development, quality arts engagement, and essential skill development. And this is the program leader, Melissa Bond. Arts extension is devoted to supporting any type of artistic endeavors within the community so that individuals have an outlet for art and that communities can benefit both economically and culturally from the expansion of arts programs in their county. And I think we have 3 or 2.5 arts extension agents, but like I said, they are looking to kind of expand the reach of those through what they're going to call regional arts associates, I believe, and those people will cover multiple counties to support arts. And so we have arts extension agents that are doing community theater. We have arts extension agents that are doing textile, visual arts, pottery and ceramics. It's really anything you can think related to the arts, again, with the goal of supporting individuals and ultimately helping develop communities economically and culturally. One thing I wanted to bring out, because I think this is a useful resource that we do use extensively within Extension, but I think anyone in the communities can use it. And I think Hillary is going to drop this URL into the chat box in a moment, just so you can access a little bit easier. But in 2019, just before the pandemic, the Kentucky Extension Service conducted a community-based needs assessment that looked at every single county individually, as well as aggregated data and information for the entire state. This community needs assessment was a combination of community surveys, where surveys were mailed or emailed to individuals in the community, focus groups, where focus groups were convened at the local county office and led by investigators from the University of Kentucky to look at areas of need or importance in the community, and finally, key informant interviews, where individuals who are well-placed within the communities to provide input were called to the table to ask about, again, what are some of the needs of your individual communities. We're going to be hearing from Boyle County 4-H agents in a little bit, and I've included the Boyle County report. Now, these are super small, obviously. That's why I wanted to give you the link. But what this report does, each one is about 28 pages. It explains the process that was used. But then the middle circle there, it shows you how community members rank the importance of 62 community-based needs or challenges. And it gives a score for each of those. And from those, the top 3 to 5 were pulled out. So for example, in the larger top circle, you can see that in Boyle County, jobs and infrastructure, agriculture and environment, health and wellness, and youth and families were all identified as broad topic areas with some specific needs under each of those. And so This report was prepared for every county. It also includes state demographic data from the most recent census, and then, excuse me, I shouldn't say that, from the 2010 census. It was updated using 2017 projections, and they're still waiting for the 2020 census reports, I think, to finalize those. But these are great resources for your county to kind of look at what is the community saying are issues. And some of you may have even been involved with that. And if so, we appreciate that and hope that you'll be able to take advantage of those. And those are accessible on the website to anyone who would like to use them. And again, the reason I bring that up is we are very committed to this community grassroots driven programming. So while we do have state extensions program leaders, while we do have people at the state level that support programs, your connection point with extension will be your county office and your county agents. So with that said, I'd like to turn it over to Alexis Sheffield and Alethea Bruzek, hopefully pronounced that right, Alethea, who are the horticulture agent and family and consumer science agent in Boyle County, who have a great working relationship with their county libraries and wanted to share some of the successes and some of the things they've learned over time. So I'll turn it over to Alexis, Alethea.
Hey, can you guys hear us okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, Mark, we heard you revert back into 4-H. You were like, the 4-H agents of Boyle County. We were like, is Kim supposed to be here? We're not 4-H, but hi. Yeah, we love our library. So when Mark emailed us about this, we were like, yeah, sure. It's
of course
quite literally the easiest partnership that we have in our community is with our local library. And we've been here, both of us have been here 9 years now. Yeah. And we've been working with them the whole time.
From the start. They were easily one of our first partners when we first started, and they've been extremely supportive and helpful in a lot of ways. It's really easy, and it makes a lot of sense to partner with our local library because we're serving the same audience, which is the whole county. We have a lot of the same goals, which is really important, and we communicate and work well together. So that just really helps make it the easiest partnership that we have.
Yeah, we can market each other's programs. So whether or not we are, teaching something at the library or we're like officially partnered with stuff, they'll share our, Facebook posts. Hey, did you all know the extension office has this coming up? And, we can say things like at our programs, like, hey, we have these great resources, but also the library has really great books on blah, 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 blah. Or they have staff that, can be more involved sometimes than we have with just kind of our vast responsibilities. They have some people who are a little bit more focused in different areas. So it's just been really easy. It's an effortless partnership. We have, like Alethea said, the same goals, and we communicate with each other often. Where I can call the library at any point and be like, hey, would you all be interested if I wanted to teach a class on seed starting? And they'll be like, sure. And they'll put books out for it, or
and they have the seed library there that
Right.
they brought down and helped to promote their seed library when you did that seed starting class like a month ago.
Yeah, they'll come, and then same in response. So if they have a summer reading program and they want to focus on a certain topic, they'll call us and say, hey, can you all do an activity or a class related to whatever their summer reading project is, or whoever the audience is that they're really trying to find, because we teach those audiences as well. And so, we can fill in what each other, lacks, and it's such a great thing. The kits, talk about the kits.
Yeah. So back when, the pandemic happened and we weren't able to do our traditional programming, of course, a lot of our programming we would do, in person at the extension office and at the library. But when COVID happened, we came up with these programs to go, and we made kits. So, and we would make videos. I know that our wonderful library staff, who are much better at making videos than we were at that time, because, we had learned how to do all of that pretty quick. And we were able to convert our programming to videos, pair them with a kit that we would have drop off, well, we would have pickup points at the extension office and at the library, and we would both promote these videos on our social media and websites. And it was really, we were able to reach a lot of people because the library is centrally located in town. We're
It's
out a little
walkable.
bit in the county. The library is walkable. It just sort of helped our accessibility really, and it worked out really well. It was a lot of fun. We did that the whole time.
Yeah.
It was a lot of kits, a lot of packing kits, but it was really good. Couple other things that the library does well with us is we can work together on getting board members. So I currently serve on the library's board and have served on their district board in the past. And right now, one of our library staff is currently serving on our district board, representing FCS. She's the children's librarian. So it's kind of great that we can share that responsibility, and we're both SPGEs, so that, we understand each other and how we function very well, which makes partnering really easy. And let's see, the community needs assessment.
Yeah, so Mark brought up the community needs assessment earlier that was done for every county, and actually our library is using that community needs assessment to look at how they're planning. So that's just, it was interesting you brought that up. We were like, oh yeah, they're actually using that, and so they're finding it helpful.
They've been using it a lot. They've been using it a lot because they're doing a whole strategic plan for the next 5 and 10 years, and they really took that data and really, first of all, appreciated that it was there and county specific and so up to date. And so that's nice. It's very mutual. We work really well together in all sorts of ways. We've done lots of programming together, different types of one-off programs, large programs. I've done several different series of programs there where I'll go, once a month, and it's very regular for a whole year or whatever. It's really easy to get on the calendar there. So we just work really well together. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Alexis and Alethea, I'll start with a question, just kind of lead it in while other people might think of one. If there was a county library that was interested in starting a partnership with the Extension Office, any hints or tips or tricks that you can give on either side to support that relationship development?
I would say when I worked at the library, Caleb is one of the what is it? Well, what was he? Director for educational programming. And so he would come to me with kind of like a general theme or a general idea, or like we feel like we're missing. We want to do something like this. It doesn't have to be super specific. It can be super specific, but the beauty of when we usually work with the library is that they might have an overall idea, or
like their summer reading programs theme or something.
Yeah, and so then we can fit in based on our programs what we know is needed in the community from the extension side, and we can make something work from what we've seen that also fits with their goals. And so I think that's been the easiest way to get started on programs with them.
Yeah. And then too, just reach out to your extension office and find out what programs they've already got going on, and think about whether that would work well at your library, and then reach out and see if you can coordinate something like that. Because honestly, that's pretty much how we got started. They heard about things that we were doing and thought, well, can we get that at the library? And it kind of just grew from that.
Great. I don't think there's any questions in the chat. Hillary, correct me if I'm wrong. Does anyone else have any questions or anything?
I don't see anything in the chat either, but please feel free to you can chat those at any time.
Okay,
one thing we were thinking that we have it down in our notes, and the one thing that we wish our library did, and we understand why they don't, but it would be really helpful for us. They don't do signups at our library. So if we're teaching a class there and we're going to to the library to teach it, they don't do signups, and it makes sense. They want it open. They want people to feel, free to come and not have to call ahead. But it's hard for us when we do planning, especially because in extension, we like to give things away.
Oh, yes. We always bring them something to do or something to eat.
We show up with all of the things, and
Yeah.
it can be really helpful. And the other thing is those classes are often later in the evening. And so, they'll be at 6 o'clock and nobody will show up. And so it would be nice to kind of have a relative head count, so that we're not, waiting around if we don't need to, but also so that we're bringing enough goodies for everybody.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Great. Well, I have one question to kind of wrap up your part, and I appreciate both of you all for joining us and representing Boyle County and the great partnership that you created. It sounds like you've done a lot of different programs and different types of programs. From the viewpoint of a win-win situation where both the libraries and extension benefited, can you think of one particular success story, either a program or a person or something that stands out to you guys in your Boyle County partnership?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's I have one, but I know Alethea also has tons, but because we're different program areas. So mine would be the seed library. So I'm able to teach classes that people can go right and get the seed from them, and talk, and they have our extension publications there available for people. And then they get people coming in looking at their seed library, and then those people are also calling me when they have questions. And so, and we've done a series of classes based on that, where it's that once a month sort of like, okay, so your tomatoes are growing, now what, type situation. So I think that would be the one good success that's been around for several years now, and it's really been helpful for the community gardens in the area, and low-income housing areas, to have that availability of a seed library.
One success, I'll just share a quick one that was recent, actually. So the Fort Harrod area FCS agents, we all got together and we did a hybrid version of a class where it was a charcuterie boards class, and we were in different locations. I was at a local coffee shop on Main Street, and our library supporters, it was Caleb, he came and he was helping me with the video setup and all that. He watched the chat and everything. He brought books from the library that people could check out right there. And he even brought the thing to sign people up to get a library card. So while people came for an extension program, they also were able to check out books from the library that were related to it, as well as sign up for a library card and become a regular patron. So we've got several instances like that, because they have that mobile app where they can sign people up for library cards, and that makes it really easy.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks again, Alexis and Alethea. I'll see if there's one final check for questions. Any questions? Feel free to unmute and ask if you have anything.
Thanks, Hillary.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your time today. We're going to jump to the next slide. We are going to do a poll here. And while that's getting set up, the question is, how frequently do you partner with your local cooperative extension service? And you'll have some opportunities to select how often you're working with your extension. Once that poll has a few minutes to run and we get a feel for the number or the frequency of partnerships, we're going to divide out everyone into 2 different breakout rooms. We want to wrap up our session today with just a little bit of processing time where you guys might, as a group of library professionals, talk a little bit about some program ideas, some concerns or challenges, or just kind of process a little bit what we've talked about today. Because what we hope comes from this session is that you're able to make important and meaningful relationships that lead to good programming that supports both of our goals and efforts. If you reach out to your county extension office. So with that said, when we do the breakout rooms, I'll be in one and Kim will be in the other. We just want to double check, make sure if there's any questions, and then we'll probably step out just to let you all talk. After a couple minutes of breakouts, we'll come back to the main group and then see if anyone wants to share any of their discussion or ideas, or even if you've had experiences, good or bad, with your local cooperative extension service, if you want to share those as a learning tool for your other peers and colleagues. All right, it looks like, in looking at this, it looks like most people are in the, once every couple months, 1 to 6 times a year. Several people are in the 10 or more times a year. So it's almost evenly split between using it most of the time or using it nearly all the time with just a few people. All right, thank you. And Hillary, I think we can go ahead and close that poll and put people into breakout rooms. And I appreciate, again, your help and assistance with this today.
Well, thank you. Welcome back to the regular group. I hope you all have had some time to discuss, or did you run out of time?
We had time.
Great. Well, we've had a question actually come up in the chat since, and I don't know if it came up in your all's discussion, but I will go on and share that if it's okay to have questions now, or did you all want to talk some more?
Nope, I think we're done.
Okay. So we had a question from Anderson County Public Library about starting a community garden at the library, and was hoping to maybe connect with their extension office and what the process would be and get your all thoughts on that.
Yeah, Kim, go ahead.
Yeah, I would suggest just making a call to your local office. If you don't know the folks there already, it's a good chance to just introduce yourself. I know that Anderson County is one who doesn't have a dedicated horticulture agent, but they do have an ag and natural resources agent who would be answering questions and doing some work related to gardening and horticulture. So that would probably be your best point of contact to have a discussion about having some type of a garden there at your library site. And community gardening, container gardening, that was a discussion in the breakout group that I was in that seemed to be a topic where there's interest from the libraries and from the patrons at libraries, and the potential for partnership. And I know there was a couple of folks with the Lexington Public Library in the breakout session I was in who had that interest. So that we do have some counties who have dedicated horticulture agents, like Alexis and Boyle County. But then in those cases where we don't have that dedicated horticulture agent, the Ag and Natural Resource agent would be a good contact for that. Someone just mentioned in the chat that before the pandemic, they were doing cooking through the calendar with the SNAP Ed program once a month. And through our SNAP education program and our nutrition education program, they do, if you haven't seen this before, they do prepare and publish a calendar annually that has a featured recipe of the month. And then the local offices often do cooking through the calendar type programs, either at the extension office or with community partners, or maybe in multiple locations. So that's a pretty popular program. And those recipes tend to be something that is based in nutrition, also cost per serving, and really encouraging consumption of fruits and vegetables, as we know how important those are in our daily diets.
Great discussion. Thank you for.
And for counties that are interested in kind of that food-related programming, the best contact would probably be your Family and Consumer Sciences agent. But we do have a lot of counties that also have nutrition education program assistants. And their focus is really on working with limited resource audiences and those who are eligible for SNAP benefits, but that is a potential partnership as well.
And I noticed on, I think it was Mark's, one of his slides about financial information and financial education opportunities. So if they're financial literacy, could that be something that folks could partner with extension agents to offer?
Again, that is a common program, often conducted locally through the Family and Consumer Sciences agents. We do have state specialists on campus who help support that program area. They actually provide to our agents a monthly 2-page newsletter called MoneyWise that gives some basic information about a financial or resource management related topic. And there's quite a bit of different programming available in kind of that family finance, financial literacy, resource management arena.
Thank you, Kim. Folks, I'm going to drop Kim and Mark's email address and their contact phone number in the chat too, if you've got any additional questions that come up you may have. Please feel free to type any more questions in the chat too, or ideas, things that you have done at your library.
There was one point that Alethea and Alexa shared that I think is a good one to keep in mind too. You know, in most of our counties, Extension and the library are both local taxing districts, and that local funding is key to what happens through Extension and the library and provides key support. So it's an opportunity for those citizens of the county when Extension and libraries partner together to really see the impact of those local dollars in meeting community needs.
Absolutely. Oh, Susan has typed in the chat at Breath that we partner with the Ag Agent to provide a seed library and program for spring summer program. Thank you, Susan.
Yeah. I think the seed libraries, I see those in my social media feeds often from Extension, and it's always, the ones I have seen have all been a partnership with libraries. And I just think that's an interesting concept.
Folks, I'm going to drop in the chat a link to our survey that you can let us know what you thought of the webinar, and your responses will be kept anonymous. So that's available. And then also, in a moment, I'll share slides to thank the Institute for Museum and Library Services for sponsoring this webinar. But Damaris has talked about Seed Library too. And I know Scott County just started theirs with their extension office.
I believe Woodford County has one as well.
I want to thank Mark and Kim for this fantastic session, Alexis and Alethea too, for joining us and sharing about the partnership in Boyle County. This was a lot of great information. I appreciate the link to the community survey resource. Since that's county specific, that could be very useful to folks. So if you hold just a moment, I'm going to share the slide to thank our sponsor, the Institute for Museum and Library Services. And I want to thank again Mark and Kim for being here, my colleague Kim for helping facilitate the polling and breakout session. I don't want to stop any questions though, folks. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to type them in the chat or comments. And
Thank you, Hillary. It's a pleasure to join you guys today. I want to stress, please feel free to reach out to Kim or I if we can help facilitate any connections or support the work that you're doing in any way. I'm almost embarrassed to show it, but I've got a stack of about 20 library books behind me that are in my to-be-read pile. Hopefully, I won't garner too many fines, but I appreciate the work that you're doing. You're an amazing resource for communities, and I'm just very appreciative that we're able to present and share our kind of joint mission with everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So glad you were here. Thank you, Mark. I'm just seeing in the chat too.
You're welcome.
And I'll echo Mark's thanks. And I'll also mention that we do have quite a few new extension agents across the state. There's been quite a bit of hiring to fill vacancies that we've had in our county offices. So you may have new agents in your local county extension offices that you haven't had a chance to meet yet. So I would encourage you, if you aren't already partnering with your library, if your library is not already partnering with their extension office, just to make that contact locally.
Thank you. Yes, and if I can do anything to connect you with Mark or Kim, or any facilitating that I can do to help you get connected, I'll be glad to help connect you with Mark or Kim or with other libraries even in the state who are doing these, so that you can talk perhaps with Boyle County or with the other folks who are doing the seed libraries to get connected. Glad to do what I can. Thank you again, Kim and Mark. This was very informative. I don't see any other questions in the chat. Thank you, Paula, for your comments, and Heather. And this will be, as it has been recorded, we will get the information, the recording out to you in a few days. Also, we'll let you know if you were able to attend the required amount of time for the session. We will get your certificate and so forth to you. Please let me know if you have any questions for me. I'll type my email in the chat here for you, and you can reach out to me or the Continuing Education Department, and we will be glad to help you. So thank you all again for being here today. Thank you, Kim and Mark, and I wish you all a great rest of your day. Thank you so much.